last but not least today is our very own Heather Patton, who came to the Homestead from Lexington, Kentucky in July of 2015. She graduated from the Homestead in June of 2016 and then returned in June of 16 to her three sons, Tate, Tyler, and Latrell. And we had an interesting journey even getting Heather here to Homestead. But I'm going to let her tell a little bit more about that. Two different judges had to sign off on her being in this opportunity of Homestead and in lieu of prison. And so it was quite a journey to even get her here. Her mentors, Sandy and Trish, who are both here today, wrote her for that long period of time before she actually even arrived. So she knew her mentors very well by letter, really, before she ever even got here to the Homestead, which is an unusual thing. That doesn't happen very often. So we are very excited to have her come and to share. She's going to talk about what goes on after Homestead, as far as what are some of the hurdles, what are some of the challenges, what does that look like? How can you, as mentors, as people in Our Lady's lives, prepare them for what's next? So come on up here, Heather.
Thanks for I don't know yet. We'll just go with the flow. I'm not good at speaking. It makes me nervous. You girls go. The girls speak so good, but they're so, oh my gosh, Sharon, I didn't even see her here yet.
You might come up closer.
Okay.
Down the chair. There you go.
But there's so many people in this room, and I can feel God in this room, being in this room with y'all, so it's making it easier. My name is Heather, and I guess I'll start by telling y'all a little bit of my background. I won't go on my whole story because it'll take too long. Everybody is tired, but a little bit of what led me up to the point where I'm at. Very early, I think my earliest memory was at 4 years old of sexual abuse, and it was a neighborhood teenager named Gary. I'll never forget his name. And then after that, it went on to my father, which is very hard. The people that know me and love me a lot know it's hard for me to speak about because I love my dad a lot, and I don't like people judging my dad. He was a good man. He made mistakes, and he spent the rest of his life making it up to me. So yeah, there was a lot of sexual abuse in my childhood. As early as I remember, my boundaries were broke, so I never knew boundaries. I'm still having difficulty setting boundaries. They look like my children tell me no with money and stuff, but I'm better boundary setter than I've ever been before. And so anyways, over the years of all that abuse and stuff, when I got older, when I finally got older and I told my mom, and I was just like, I was running away left and right, and I couldn't run away no more because I knew where to find me. And so I started numbing myself with drugs. And like I said, I didn't have any boundaries, so sex to me was always like a job. Nobody liked work, but we all got to do it to live. You know what I mean? I never valued it. I don't even know if I'll have the same value as anybody else. I don't know. I trust in God. But anyways, so I started dancing in the clubs. I was a single mom of my boys, and I didn't have any help financially, really. So I started in the strip clubs, and I'd have to drink a whole lot to go in there to be able to deal with the men and deal with what I was doing. And then the drinking, I was immune to it. Didn't work at the gym like a gallon. So then it went, and there's so much drugs in the strip club, so then it went from pills to heroin, and I was a full-blown heroin addict. I was lying, stealing, cheating. I've broken so many hearts. I've led so many people on to think that there's hope of being in a relationship, just to milk them for everything, for my drug habit, my addiction. You know what I mean? Well, in the process of getting out of the strip club, after the strip club, my story's really lost. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of skip through it. But I've been in and out of jail a lot because of my addiction, stealing to feed my habit. It's always just been stealing mainly and driving charges like DUIs. But this last time, well, before I skip to that, my best friend, she's with me today, by the way, April and Ashley, 2 A's. But one of my best friends, she had been clean for a while, and I was staying away from her because I was toxic, and I didn't want to bring her down. And we went back and forth with that. And I got a call that her 14-year-old had found her. She was in the house, they were alone together, and she had OD'd and died. And at that point, I just kind of just gave up on everything, and I just went full-blown for my addiction. I don't even remember what happened. I remember I started writing bad checks for cartons of cigarettes to trade for drugs. And then I remember police and ambulance. I drove my car off like a ravine. I still don't know to this day where I wrecked my car for sure, but I went to the hospital and I went to jail after that. And because of all the past charges I had of theft, they wanted to give me a PFO. They ended up they tried. They ended up dropping that, but still giving me persistent felony offenders, what a PFO is, and that carries 10 to 20 years. So I got sentenced to 10 years. And I went to jail for 7 months, and then I went to prison, one prison, and then another prison. This is all in the state of Kentucky. And while I was working at the strip clubs, I have to go back to that, these church ladies used to come in there every Wednesday night with food, y'all, and feed us. And I'm like, what in the are these crazy church women doing in the strip club? Like, who let them in the door? I'm quitting. This is bad, all bad. Like, they're walking in the back with plates of food, and there's, okay. But they stood out to me, and when I was in jail later that time, waiting for that 7 months, I seen a woman I recognized, and she was talking to one of the other girls. I was like, I know you, and she remembered me, and she wanted to talk to me, but the jail had rules, and you had to have a prostitution charge. Fortunately, I never got that charge, but I was prostituting too. I just never got caught. And she said, well, let me talk to the jailer, because I know you've been in the strip club scene and in the sex industry. And she did, and she got to talk to me, and they started they're called the Natalie Sisters, and they started coming to visit me every week. At first, I was nasty, my language, not mean to them, but I just talked like I do anybody else. So every other word sounded like a sailor, you know what I mean? But they loved me. They just looked at me and go, Or I'd be in the hole when they come, and they wouldn't see me for 2 weeks. But they fought with me. And then I went to prison, and I thought, well, I'm going to see them for years. And these ladies kept writing me and kept writing me. And before I went to prison is where the journey began for the fight to come to Homestead. They approached me, and they didn't feel like they knew that my crime was based on my addiction, which was based on something deeper, and I was worth fighting for to them. And they were trying to get me to go to rehab, and I was telling them, like, rehabs work for some people and some people they don't. And I know that's not what I needed, because I knew I was using drugs. I needed something deeper than that. And I knew I'd be setting myself up for failure. If there's an open door that I can walk out and get to my kids, I'm going. Drugs or no, I want, you know what I mean? So they fought for me. They found out about this Manhattan, the Homestead program, and they presented it to me. And I had already, when my friend died, before she died, I was wanting to be clean, but I don't know if anybody knows about heroin addiction. It's a very painful, I was petrified of the pain of detoxing. So I would go to hospitals. My girlfriend at the time, I actually met her, she worked at the jail. It was the Hope Center program, which is like a rehab in the jail. She quit, it was crazy, but she would take me to hospitals, try to admit me. And the hospitals in Kentucky, I don't think they do here either. They can't admit you for detox. And she was scared I had a seizure or something. We were scared of me coming off. So when I went to jail, I was ready. I knew I'd been praying to God. I was, do something. Don't let me keep hurting my kids like this, because then I loved my kids more than him. You know what I mean? They're the whole reason what made my life worth waking to every day. I didn't even love them enough to do right by them, unfortunately, but I thought I did. That's hard to say. Dang, I just got lost, y'all. That's hard to say. That just threw me all the way off. Well, the Natalie Sisters, they presented me with the Homestead, and I was like, me being where I was at and so done and so tired, I was like, that is perfect. It's out of state. I don't know nobody. I have nobody to be like, come and get me. Or I can't take no more. Bring me a pill. Like, I have nothing. I have to focus on me there. I'm going to get right. I need to try this. So the process started fighting. They started fighting these church women, these crazy strip club church women. I can't believe they do that here too as well. So they started a fight for me so hard with my judge, and I mean, it lasted for over 7 months. I would get so down and like feel like it's not going to work. I've already got 10 years. I'm already in prison now. I'm doing my 10 years. I've been sentenced. But I knew then, and I still didn't have my personal relationship with Christ, but I knew then, I knew I wasn't going to do those 10 years. Something told me God's not going to let me sit here for 10 years. You know what I mean? I'm sick. I need help. And one night they came and got me at 3:30 in the morning. It was like, pack your bags, we're going to court in Lexington, because I was in Western Kentucky, and they took me there and told me I'll be released here, and the judge said, don't mess this up, it's your last chance. And I went home. I got to see my kids for 45 minutes, first time in 2.5 years, and then I came straight here. And I want to thank, Deb brought up something valuable. Sandy and Trish did write me a lot in prison, and anybody that's been locked up knows that a letter is everything when you're in jail. It's bigger than any money or anything, and you all. And I was scared to come here. I didn't know anybody, but I had friends already before I pulled up in Kansas, so that was comforting. Okay, so then I got in Homestead. Deb brought me questions, y'all, because I never prepare myself. It stresses me out so bad. So I'm trying to go with other questions. Oh, and Deb and them, the Homestead too, they fought for me. Like, they were writing letters to my judge. The church women in Kentucky were writing letters to my judge. They were at my court dates. Like, all these church people are fighting the judge for me. I guess he finally just said, okay, let her go. But, okay, so looking back on the Homestead, because it's been 2 years now, and just what I benefited from the most, obviously, was the love and support. I don't think that I've ever felt, well, yeah, I don't know that I've ever felt unconditional love, at least from another adult or Christian love. You know what I mean? People that love you with God love is totally different than somebody that loves you because you're hot or because you have something they want, you know? So it was a really roller coaster for me at first. I was in that me phase, like, Deb loves Ashley more than me. Sandy's nicer to this one than me. And they're picking on me because I come from prison, like craziness. And I didn't understand all that was going on, but today now I still apply so much. Like, for instance, I have very bad PTSD and night terrors. And I was on medication while I was here for all that stuff, but I still have it. It still breaks through. And I remember nights, I don't know if you remember Sandy, if you literally I remember one night sleeping in your bed with you, that was that mother, like my mom did, this is something else Sandy taught me. I remember when you told me, you said, your mom might not be everything you need her to be, but she's your mom, and you only have one, and that's why God gives you other moms to fill the other. And I think I was telling you earlier, Sandy, I'm better to deal with what me and my mom get at it now, because I think of that. But just the love and the support, those Bible studies that I hate, not the Bible studies, but the groups every week that I hated, with the battlefield of the mind and stuff. Like, if you haven't read that book, you should read it. Even for people without addiction, it's powerful. Like, that stuff, if you can apply it in life, it's a big deal. I've learned the difference between loving somebody to life and loving them to death. I've had so many people love me to death. So many people that love me so much that they do me anything to make me happy, even if it killed me. You know what I mean? And now I know what it's like to be loved for life. So I'm not good with words, y'all. What's the word? Decipher through that and figure out. I'm better at choosing the people I'm around. Let's see. I think the main things I took from this program was love unconditionally. I learned a lot about boundaries, but the number one thing is Christ. Like, Kansas got me my ticket to heaven. I know, like, I remember driving down the road with Ashley one time, Ashley Harlan, and thinking, she was talking about God, and I was just thinking, I started telling her stuff I'd done, and I was like, I really don't think I'm going to make it to heaven. And then I remember a couple months later telling myself, I remember that ride. I remember thinking, I got my ticket recently. I'm going to heaven. I know now. You know what I mean? I knew a little bit about God before, and I felt like something there, but I didn't know, and I didn't have a personal relationship. And here's where the Homestead, they surrounded me with such loving, caring people in an environment where I didn't have no bills. I didn't have to worry about life's normal struggles so much that I could really just focus on me and get myself together so I could go home and be a better mother and a better daughter, a better granddaughter, somebody to be trusted. And they gave me that time. So I spent a lot of time I spent a lot of time with other people, but then I spent a lot of time up in the woods at the homestead and stuff too. And them woods is where I've been there twice since I've been back. Those woods is where me and Christ really met each other and just really poured into each other and built our relationship. So please, you ladies are so powerful. Even your presence being in here is making me shake. You all do change lives. I mean, I'm going to heaven because of this program. I mean, maybe I would have on my own. Maybe I would have OD'd. I don't know. I don't know where I've been, but I know where I'm going now. Since I've been home, there has been a lot of hurdles. First off, this environment here was so loving and caring and nurturing, and more quiet and subtle. When I went back home, it's loud and cursing and stuff going in and out that wouldn't have been here. So I had to go from I had to adapt myself all the way back. So naturally my walls started going up again. I've had a lot of legal issues that they've helped me take care of. I've owned they started garnishing my wages. The financial lady earlier was talking about them garnishing your wages. I've got a job, and they started taking my checks. I quit my job the first day. I was like, I'm not doing volunteer work for White Castle. No, I work for the church for free. So I quit. And the Natalie sisters, I know, right? The Natalie sisters, who are still very involved in my life, she helped me call and talk to these people. I've never done anything like that before. Now I pay $5 a month so they don't garnish my check. What's that? $5 a month, and it's knocking my student loans off slowly but surely. Yeah. My son, I have two 19-year-olds. They were 18 at the time. I don't know how long it was after I got back. A little bit after I got back, my 18-year-old was shot at a barbecue. He was at a barbecue get-together with some friends, and he was shot, and that was probably my biggest hurdle. That was my biggest hurdle since I got home. That was when a lot of things came into realization for me. I've been really doubting myself and stuff since I've been home. Can I do this and stuff? And I knew then when I was at the hospital, I didn't want my other kids around me, my mom around me. I just wanted to be alone with God. And that was the first time I've had so much awful happen to me, but to me that was the worst. You know what I mean? And I didn't once say, I don't know if I can do this, or I need a pill, I can't take this no more. I just remembered what I learned and what I built here and what stuck with me all this way, and I knew that God, His will, and I didn't pray, God, bring my son out there, God, let your will be done, and let me accept it however you give it to me and help me through it, you know what I mean? Help my baby be not in pain, things of that nature, and my son's okay now. Well, he had to have a foot of his colon removed and some other stuff, but his health is back to good now. Let's see. So mainly the biggest thing since I've been back, though, has been adapting back to the real world. And this is real here, too. It's very real, but out there, there's not as nice people all the time. You know what I mean? And financial, I still struggle very bad. Financial, I'm scheduled 6 days to work a week, but I usually work 7. Sometimes I get write-ups for it, sometimes I don't. I'm not good with my money though. I'm just now getting better with it. So because I've always blew it as soon as I got it on drugs. You know what I mean? So for the first time in my life, y'all, I have my own banking account. I'm 36 years old. It feels so empowering. I saved up money by myself Deb, of course, helped me get here, but I saved up money, and I'm not used to doing that. And when I did that and I seen, wow, I work hard enough where I can have the things I want and I've always wanted. I can have those nice shoes. I can have my own house. I have a nice car. I'm going to try this hoopty around. Sharon, not your car, you gave me the engine plate. That was a very nice car. But yeah, I just realized, I can save up my money like everybody else, because when I put money in the bank account, it's not as easy for me to hand out and distribute to everybody, because now I'm bad about giving my boys what they want, because guilt still bothers me to this day, even with my walk and where I'm at with God, and I know I'm better today than I've been before, since I've ever picked up a drug. You know what I mean? But I still do have a lot of guilt and shame, and I battle with that, and I know God loves me, and He's going to forgive me, but it's me forgiving myself, I think. You know what I mean? And you know what another thing is so important about here is, I don't want to say old people. What is that thing they say it takes a village to raise? It really does. When you were talking, I was thinking you were it's not, somebody was talking to me ago, they're it's not one person. It's everybody. And I want to say, Well, I can deal with my mom easier because the house mom, Sandra and Lindsay, taught me this. But then Trish and Eldon, like, I have no concern about no man, y'all. I love being by myself. I love it. I don't want to be bothered with nobody. But I think part of that is, I was telling Deb, and I tell people back home when I see them in abusive relationships, I have a best friend that's in a very, very emotional abusive relationship and mental abusive. And I tell her about Trish and Eldon, about the breakfasts with them and how they'll sit. They'll sit like teenagers. I'm sorry, Trish, embarrass you. And cross from each other on the table with their hands like this, all googly-eyed and stuff. Like, how long have y'all been together? You know what I mean? Like, so that's there. I know, like one of the girls said earlier, that has really been good. Because I remember at first I was kind of a little hesitant. I don't think I ever told you the same, or Trish, but at first I remember when I meet your husbands, I felt weird about it. I felt scared, inappropriate. I felt all kinds of emotions and feelings because men have always been bad to me. It started early, you know what I mean? But after growing with them, I love Jim and Eldon now. If y'all know them, y'all love them too. But after seeing that, I've seen what a healthy relationship is supposed to look like, and I've seen when two people that love God come together, what can happen. You know what I mean? And that is such a beautiful thing. And if I gotta wait a lifetime for it, I will. And if I die with just God, I'm okay with that too. You know what I mean? I got my kids and Him. I'm all right. But and you know, being here today is very, very helpful for me. Just talking about stuff that I realized some of it I still battle with. I didn't even realize I did, like the guilt and shame. Like listening to y'all's perspective of it, I do. And I feel like I've been, you know, I used to feel, I don't feel like I'm like property now. I'm very big on respect. I have no tolerance for nobody disrespecting me anymore. I feel like I worked really hard to earn my respect, and I'm very respectful, and I want that back. But for so many years, I did feel like property. It's like I went from his property to state property, and I was a number. They didn't call me by my name. I still remember my number. I almost got out and got it tattooed on the bottom of my foot. I'm glad I didn't do that. I would be very mad at myself today. And I still have issues. Like, I am a person, when girls were talking about walls building up, if I have an issue that hurts me and I'm trying to like talk to somebody about it, I'm bad about just shutting it down and just avoiding that person for 3 days. First, just dealing with it because it hurts. You know what I mean? I avoid pain. So I still have, it's not like the Homestead puts you on the right track, and they give you the resources, the opportunity, the love, the support. They give you the phone call. Ashley Harlan was so good at her job, you all. I mean, she was always calling me, checking on me, being my friend. I could tell her anything, you know what I mean? And even back in Kentucky, I've got the Natalie sisters, but I still know, after being gone 2 years, I can come back here anytime I want. These people love me for a lifetime, and probably after. And that's really reassuring. And I do want to say this. During my financial struggles, this is so important to me. I have been at a point where I literally remember I was standing on my kitchen with my hands on the counter, and I was like, how am I going to come up with this money so quick? How am I going to do it? I know how I can get it, but I don't want to, you know what I mean? But I was thinking, I thought in my head, that old me said, well, you just go, lay with Him, get it over with, take a drink before you do it, come back and be done with it. But my God conscious, and what I learned here was telling me, you don't have to do that. It'll work out.
That's right.
Before that happens, I'll send somebody with money for you before you have to sell yourself again. And I know if it ever gets too bad that I can't take it, I got somewhere I can call and they'll help me. And that is major because, I don't know, I think struggling financially can really push you over the edge back, you know what I mean? So knowing that there is people there to help or help direct you to get help is a big, big deal. Let me see. What's next for you? How can we pray? Well, what's next for me? I don't know, you guys. I'm working really hard. I'm working so much. Now that I have that bank account, I'm realizing, like, I can have nice stuff. And I can have stuff to show for my money and my hard work and make all this hard work worth it. You know what I mean? So my focus right now is just keep on loving God. I'm really big about on my work, they think I'm crazy. Like, one of my managers likes this, his favorite cuss word is, oh, Jesus, T-I-T-S. I'm like, who even thinks of that? Like, what kind of cuss word is that? Like, quit talking about my dad like that. Quit talking about my dad who's smack you, like, stop. But like, it's weird because I was a waitress, so it's a restaurant, so everything's hectic there. But when it comes to me, everybody there, the younger girls, the older one of them's a police officer that works with us. She's a cop 5 days a week and a waitress 2 days a week. At first that was kind of odd, but they all love me and respect me. And I think it's because I don't let go. No matter how much they don't believe in it or not, when they ask me, like, how are you doing this, or what did you do, I'm gonna let them know it's God. Y'all don't know him yet, but you're going to eventually. Or if not, it's your, that's sad, but it's definitely him. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without him. I mean, who? He's not a who, he is him, but I just think, like, how incredible he is that I can just turn over when I can't take nothing no more. I can just say, you know what, God, I can't deal with this. I'm giving it to you and I'm letting go. You know what I mean? That alone is just amazing to me. And I've become better at that, like giving stuff to God and knowing. That's another thing the Homestead taught me is I can't halfway trust in God or halfway believe in him. If I'm going to trust in him and give him something, I got to let go of it completely and not do it. And I remind myself, I'll battle with myself and try to take it back, and then I'll remember what I was taught. So everything I've learned here is really affecting my life. It's affecting my kids, my mom, how I deal with things better. Everybody, this has been since for months and years now. Everybody trusts me again. My mom sleeps with her purse out. I loan her money. She uses my car. I help her pay her bills. Like, it feels good to be productive. It feels good to be able to help and not just take all the time. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going to do next. So that's the answer to my question. I don't know. I'm just going to work hard to be where I want to be at and keep moving forward. I don't think too far ahead in the future because it stresses me out. I just think about the next day, what I got to do, what time I got to be up for work. That stresses me out too. I'm not a morning person. Y'all think I'm late everywhere I go. And that's another thing about my job. My manager loves me even though I'm late all the time. He accepts my tardiness, so it's a job for me. But also, I was here, y'all, I got to do an awesome apprenticeship in dog grooming. I got certified in that, so now I can do my mom's dog and everything from nails to hair to anal glands. Angie knows I've done her dog a few times. I know the anal gland part's the worst part. I was like, I quit, I don't want to do apprenticeship. When she showed me the first day, I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that, no. And I had nails, I was like, I'm going to hurt its butt. I don't want to do that. But I didn't follow through with it. When I went home, because the Homestead gifted me with every tool I needed to get started with my dog grooming. And this is expensive stuff. I don't know if you've ever tried to buy shears or stuff for a dog, because I've tried to replace a couple things. It's very expensive. And I had everything I needed, but when I got home, I kind of tried, I did a couple friends' dogs, but I live with my mother, and so I didn't really have the right environment to just bring people in. It's not always healthy. It's not always nice, happy, and sunny inside that house. Sometimes there's some people I would just want you all to have my address and show up at any time. You might see something crazy or hear something crazy. Nothing like bad, but it's just, I don't know. But I still, though, that dog grooming thing is another thing that I think of when I get real broken down and out. I've got this trait now that I didn't have before, and I'm good at it still. As far as the wiener dog at our house looks really good, but I can always have that to fall back on. And it made me, even if I don't ever be a dog groomer the rest of my life, it makes me feel empowered to say, I finished something, I'm certified in that, or I got a diploma for that. I got a diploma for that, you know what I mean? So that's just a good feeling. Even if I don't go with it, it's really nice to be empowered and feel capable. I've never too much felt capable, you know what I mean? I feel so grateful to be here, y'all. Y'all don't even understand. I appreciate y'all listening to me. I feel you all are all making me feel important that you want to even sit here and listen to me. I know y'all could have other things to do. So we were talking earlier how significant it is to feel like you matter and you're important. And Kansas always makes me feel like I matter and I'm important. And I really appreciate y'all for that. Does anybody have any questions? Help me out so I don't have to just speak freely.
Do you have any specific prayer requests?
Let me think. You know what? I didn't think I brought it. I literally have been starting to write stuff down for this day because I knew y'all were going to ask me that. Y'all always ask me what to pray for, and I can never think of right off the top of my head. And I wrote a little list of stuff. But pray for me to get even closer to God. I've been bad about reading lately in my Bible. I'm not gonna lie, I'm bad about reading my Bible. I work so much, it's like I don't find time to sit still and just, you know what I mean? I spend time with him in my car and I sing and talk in my lungs. I can't sing. But like I don't have time to read, and that's where so much of the wisdom comes from, the knowledge of it is in that book, you know what I mean? And pray for my boys that they go back to what they know, because they know God. Pray that they really pray for my kids, y'all, please, that just they make the right choices. Pray that God help me decide where I want to be in life. I don't know if I'm going to be here or there. I just told Sandy, I feel like I'm torn. Like coming here is so hard, but it's so great too. You know what I mean? I have more family here than there, I feel like. But my family there is just as important to me. So I feel really torn between that. And I do, the other night also when I was driving home from work, I started thinking, am I just working all the time for money, and am I going to miss out on everything else in life? Like I'm battling with, I know in the Bible how it talks about, you know, money and getting into heaven. It's like needle. How is it? I can't remember the needle in the camel's eye or something. Well, if I'm chasing money all the time, am I messing, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I question myself a lot. I second guess myself a lot. Am I doing the right thing by working all the time? Should I be spending more time at home? Do I need to limit myself more? So just pray that God just guides me more, I guess, and for my babies, that would be great. Yeah.
Can you tell us, when you graduated, what was the most helpful thing that we did for you, or if there was something that we could have done that you thought of, you wish you had? Is there, you know, just to be supportive of our graduates, and I know it's hard doing that. So.
Well, the biggest thing that I could have done differently, Deb tried her best to make me do, and I just refused to because I've been away from my kids for so long because of prison, and that was stay and save up some money, Heather, so you don't have to go home and start from nothing and stressed out. And I wasn't saving money while I was here. I don't remember what was I spending my money on. It was, sending home money a lot, and go figure, that's where most of my money goes. My 14-year-old has a very expensive social life, to say the least. I wish I would have stayed longer. I think there should be more conditions to that, like probably better. Like it was a rule, but Deb understood that when my kids went to me, she knew where I was, and she let me be the decision of that. And I'm happy because it's made me stronger struggling and seeing that I can work just as hard and get it the legitimate way as I can the illegitimate way. So I think it all happened for a reason, nonetheless, but it probably would have been easier if I went home, saved up more. Because I don't have the help back there financially like I do here, like the support and stuff as much so. But I do have the Natalie sisters I was telling y'all about. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I'm very still involved with them. One in particular, her name's Sandy too. I got a thing for Sandy, y'all. I have so many Sandy moms. My real mama's name is Susan, but my Sandy back there, she's the one that helped me get my bank. Like she told me to go get my bank account. She got me started on my student loans. My tooth, I had a root canal. Medical card, I'll pay for it. She went to the church that I didn't even go to and got them to pay like $2,600 for my tooth fixed. This is my front tooth. They were going to pull it. That would have been a big deal. Yes, to me it would have. I'm sorry, but it would have. I'm already funny. I don't want to be funnier looking. And she's helped me. My car was gifted with that I left here, y'all. It's so nice. I miss it so bad. Eventually the engine locked up, and that's probably for my fault because of my ignorance, because I've been so lost in drugs and like the cycle of chasing drugs every day. I don't even know a lot of basic stuff. Like I'm so dumb when it comes to technology. Like I'm not dumb, but what's the word? Ignorant. I haven't learned it yet. You know what I mean? But I didn't even think. I thought as long as I keep putting oil in the car, it's okay. I didn't know you had to change the oil. I thought as long as I have something to drink all the time, I'm good. You know, like what's wrong? Why do you change oil as long as you got it and the engine locked? So then I had money saved up. Well, not really, but I was doing good enough where I had enough to put a deposit down and get myself another car. And I bought it from like a Swagger Cater lot. And 32 days later, my engine locked up on that, and that one was not my fault, mind you. Okay. But I lost out on all that deposit money I had and stuff, and I was freaking out because I had 2 jobs and no transportation to get to both. And Sandy was coming giving me rides in the morning between her and my kids, and she eventually was like, how much money can you come up with? And I was like, it took me a few days, to like realize my income if I saved it up, because I hadn't been trying to save, and I saved up $1,500 and she matched me my $1,500. So I could get a car, and now I make $200 payments to her a month, and it makes me feel good. That sounds weird, but I like making them payments because I feel productive.
Absolutely.
And you know what I mean? It's a big deal that I make them on time to me, but it's not to her. That's why she wanted me to do it with her versus a car lot, because if I couldn't make it, it wouldn't be so much stress. But to me, I just want to, because I just, you know what I mean? So I definitely have a lot of people that love me. That's a big part of me staying on track, is just knowing that I still matter. I know I matter to God, but sometimes when in busyness and in the struggles of life and pain, you forget and you start just feeling like you don't matter within to anything else. And to have people around you that love you all the time, even if it's hours and hours away, just to let you know every now and then, it makes a big difference. Because I don't want to let nobody down here. I don't want to let him down most of all, but you know what I mean? So, yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something that's important to me that I was supposed to say to y'all. It's bugging me. I don't know, but I tried to talk to one of the girls yesterday. I know the Homestead program is a really big roller coaster, because a lot of us girls, like I have been staying numb my whole life, not dealing with my problems, just staying high so I didn't have to deal with it, or running away and hanging out with older kids and drinking or sexing or whatever you want to call it. But okay, I must be done, because my brain just went completely blank. I had a point and now I don't remember it. What was my point? What was I going to say, Dad? It's bugging me, it's important.
You talked about being in Homestead for the girls yesterday.
What was I talking about?
Roller coaster?
Oh, yeah, it's a roller coaster. Like, I still don't remember. Y'all, I stayed up all night partying at the Reservoir of Jesus, so y'all just bear with me, I'm sorry. I like to go, I sat out there late. I was scared to go in. I was so tired, but I was scared to go in because I didn't know when I'd get to go back again. So I just fought my tiredness and sat out there late knowing I had to get up early. But it's definitely a roller coaster. Oh, I know what I was saying because I've never dealt with my feelings and my emotions. So it's like I just dealt with, it's like everything hits you at once for the first time in your life. And it is so important that there's other people here to, you know, be there for you with it. And I remember I almost got kicked out a couple times. I remember one crazy event. Remember when the police came to the door? That's when I knew you really loved me, Dad. For real. I knew that. I swear to God. I told Ashley, I said, she loves me. I know now. I thought I was going to be in so much trouble. She went rushing upstairs with them police officers to fix it before I could even get up there to him. And I was so scared, and she sat by me the whole time and just kept her hand on me. And I was petrified. I don't know if you remember, but I was petrified. I felt like I was on blackout. I feel like I want to say they've taken so much of my life away. I put myself in that position, you know what I mean? But because of what I've done, so much of my life has been spent behind bars. So I don't ever want to do anything to have to go back there again. But yeah.
I love you.
You're welcome. I'm welcome to celebrate.
Thank you, Heather. It's always so great to hear from one of our graduates. You know, what's going on, an update, how to pray, and just the insights of what happens when we go back to a different environment. You know, what was it that was significant here, and what can we continue to do to make our graduates even feel loved, like they matter, that we haven't forgotten them, that, you know, we're still a significant part of their life, and we're still here if they need to fall back on us. And that matching grant fund for our graduates, we've used that repeatedly with a number of our graduates, Heather being one of them. So that's fantastic. I wanted to remind you, I don't want to embarrass Heather by passing our box around, but I really do want y'all to be generous, if you haven't already, because we want to bless Heather for the days that she took off of work. So if you want to give a donation, it's going to go directly to her. Lindsay's got the box back there. So just stick something in. It can be a check or cash or whatever. The t-shirts, $5 each. That also goes in the box for Heather. we're wrapping it up. I mean, we really want you to fill out those evaluations because it really helps us to know what was effective and what was not. So if you haven't filled out your evaluation sheet, please take just a couple of minutes. There's only a few questions on there. And let us know if this met needs or not. Because, you know, the whole point of training is that you get some training. We don't want you just to come and feel like it was a waste of your time. So it's really helpful to us. Let's just close it out in prayer, and then you're free to go. I just appreciate you all being here. Lord Jesus, you're the one that does the transformation work. And yet we get to join you. What a privilege. What a privilege to be a part of loving someone to the degree that they have assurance. Not only that they're loved, but that they can be loved by you and that they can spend eternity with you. Father, the people in this room, the impact that their lives and their generosity has had on 41 girls so far just floors me. And yet you're the source. You are the absolute source of any love that we are showering on the gals that you bring our way. So, Father, I pray that you will continue to just fill us up so that we can continue to pour it out on behalf of others. That is what it is about. It's never to hoard for ourselves. So thank you for this time. Thank you for the great people who have spoke and given us just so much to chew on, so much to think about, so much to implement. Father, make us better lovers. Lovers of people, lovers of you. So protect and keep each one. Bless Heather. Father, bless her life. Bless her children. Father God, I pray you'll continue that good work that you've begun in her. You promised to do so, and we believe it is continuing. We thank you for her and encourage her heart, Father. We want to pray all this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all for coming.